Common reasons why a home is hard to sell. Hi, I'm Sheila Cox, and I'm going to show you some really interesting behind the scenes, behind the curtain information about real estate today. And the purpose is to help you understand the most common reasons why a home may be hard to sell. So we'll just get right into it. The first reason a home may be hard to sell is because it's hard to find in searches. Over 95% or approximately 95% of home buyers out there are using the internet to search for homes. And so if your home is not listed properly, then they're not going to be able to find it. And if it's not listed properly, the buyer's agents may not be able to find it. And I'm going to illustrate that to you shortly. But one thing to know, almost all, I think it's all, but I'll just say almost all the real estate websites out on the internet derive their information and get their listings from the MLS, the multiple listing service. And I do have another video on what that is, and you can go look at that video and see the details. But if a listing agent who is trying to help you sell your property does not list your house properly in the MLS, it may be difficult for people to find. And if they can't find it, they can't see it. If they can't see it, they can't buy it. So that's one of the most common reasons why a home is hard to sell. Another reason is because it has a poor online presentation. Again, home buyers aren't driving neighborhoods anymore and checking out the curb appeal from the street. They're looking on the internet, and they're looking at photos on the internet. And if your photos, the photos of your home are terrible, if they're dark and dingy and cluttered and poor angles and different sizes and all that, they don't look good, they're not going to appeal to home buyers. And home buyers have got to like it online before they're going to even be motivated to make an appointment to go see it. It's not like they just go see houses without seeing them online first. They don't do that. You know, they look at them online first before they make a decision to go see it. Then the third reason why a home can be hard to sell is because it's difficult to show. And this is one of kind of a dirty little secret in the real estate industry. And unfortunately, you, the homeowner, may never even know this is going on. And, you know, there's so many homeowners out there that they hire and I don't mean to pick on discount agents, but, there's some not so great discount agents out there. I'm not saying all of them, but there's agents out there that are not members of our automated appointment scheduling service, and they don't put the electronic lock boxes on the door. And so they require that we buyer's agents, I'm both a listing agent and a buyer's agent, they require agents to text them or call them to get permission to show the house and to get access to the house and find the key and all that. And all of those barriers make it more difficult to see the house. And so always make sure that your listing agent is a member of the centralized showing service and puts an electronic lockbox on the door and makes it easy for people to see the property. And you, the homeowner, if you're occupying the property and you're making it difficult for people to see the property, you're getting in your own way. We cannot sell houses if we can't show them. We have to be able to show them. So, there was something else I wanted to tell you. I can't tell you the number of times I've wanted to show properties to buyers, and buyers wanted to see certain houses, and I just was unable to get a hold of the listing agent. A lot of discount agents are part-timers, and they have full-time jobs, and they may be difficult. And even when you text them, you might not hear back from them for hours or days. And listen, guys, sometimes buyers are only in town for a short period, or they only have a short window to go look. And if your house is not available when those buyers are looking, it's not necessarily true that they're going to try again. A lot of times they'll just move on because your house is not the only house on the market. Buyers have options. They're going to look at other houses. So you've got to make sure your house is very easy to show. Number 4, poor appearance. Buyers don't go looking for ugly houses. Okay. Buyers never call me and say, "Hey, Sheila, we want to go look at all the ugly houses in the neighborhood." Okay. They don't do that. They want to look at pretty houses. You're a buyer, you own a house. You're probably going to be buying another house if you have your house on the market, and you're not out there looking for the ugliest house in the neighborhood. You're looking for the prettiest house in the neighborhood, right? So the houses have to have a nice appearance. They also need to be in good condition. A poor condition home is going to be hard to sell. And again, buyers never call me and go, "Hey, Sheila, we want to go look at money pits." They just don't do that, right? So they want to buy a home that's in good condition, just like you want to buy a home in good condition. Nobody wants to spend a lot of money and go through all the process of buying a new house just so they can put a new roof on it and fix the HVAC system and repair the foundation and repaint the whole thing and put on all new floors. Fixer-uppers just are not popular, okay? The only reason most people buy a fixer-upper is because that's all they can afford, okay? And that's lower price ranges than most of Fort Bend County. So if you're in the $100,000, $150,000 price range, yeah, maybe you can get away with a poor appearance and poor condition. But by and large, Fort Bend County is a more expensive county than that, and you're going to need a nice appearance and a good condition to sell your property in a timely manner. And then the next to the last issue would be the price is too high. I'm sure a lot of y'all are surprised that I didn't list that first because, you know, realtors always want to blame it on the price. And it is very commonly the price. The price is too high. But it's not the only thing, you know. I mean, there are other factors for why a home can be hard to sell. And the last one is that it has hard to solve defects. I mean, some houses are just located in a bad part of the neighborhood. You know, maybe they have power lines behind them or high voltage power lines or, you know, mud tanks or maybe a school or, you know, sometimes homes are just situated in a place that's just not that great. It's just not a great lot location. And there's nothing you can do about it. Can't move the house off the lot. You know, that's the way it is. And then, or maybe it backs to a busy street is another one. And, or maybe the schools got rezoned and now it's not zoned to the best schools anymore. Or other things that could affect it, other hard to solve defects. I'm trying to think of something else in our area. I can't think of any. Oh, maybe it flooded one time. You know, maybe it flooded during Harvey and now everybody sees that as a defect. So that's nothing you can do about it. So some of these issues, like the first 3 of these issues, are controlled by the listing agent. If they don't list it correctly in the MLS and it's hard to find, if they're not getting a professional or photographer, or if they don't take very good photos and stuff, and it doesn't have a good online presentation, that's their fault. If it's difficult to show, it's their fault, usually, unless you're making it difficult to show. 3 of these issues are controlled by the seller. I mean, even if a listing agent does a staging plan and makes recommendations to you and offers you a staging service and they tell you to fix this and fix that, you're the one that has to do it. You, the homeowner, have to do that. So they're not, a listing agent's not in control of those items, you are. And of course, sometimes you're not even in control of that because maybe you don't have the money to fix those things. I mean, I've known home sellers before that, you know, they just didn't have the cash to do all the repairs that they needed. So, and then the price being too high. Now that can, you know, it's sometimes hard to determine who is pricing the house too high. It could be an inexperienced agent who doesn't know what they're doing and they're telling the seller a too high price. And a lot of agents, I'm going to tell you guys, a lot of real estate agents do that. They'll just go with whatever price you say because they just want to get the listing. And even if they know the price is too high, they'll go along with it. And frankly, we have to follow whatever you tell us, you know, so you never know for sure. Is the listing agent just doing a poor job of pricing the house, or is the seller just insisting on too high a price? You never quite know where it is. But listen, guys, buyers are not going to buy houses that cost too much. They can't. Even if they want to, their lender's not going to let them. Most home buyers have to get a loan to buy a property from a lender. Lenders are in business to make money. So they send neutral third-party appraisers to your home to evaluate it. And they're not going to loan $25,000, $50,000 more on a house than it's worth. So it's not always up to the seller or the buyer, or the listing agent, the buyer's agent. It's also up to the lender's appraiser and the lender. They're the ones that got to sign off on this thing too. And so if your house is priced too high and a good agent, a good buyer's agent knows it, they're not even going to want to show your house, because why even get involved in the process and go through all the process just to find out the house is not going to appraise anyway? Okay, so a lot of times buyer's agents won't even show the property if they know it's priced way too high. And then, of course, the last thing nobody has any control over, neither you or the listing agent can control if the house backs up to high voltage power lines, right? So there's some things that are out of everybody's control. So seeing is believing, as they say. So I'm going to kind of go live here, and I want y'all to kind of excuse me because you're actually going to be seeing some behind the scenes things, and I'm not always totally in control. I mean, it's kind of hard to drive back here. This is not a screenshot organized presentation. This is live. I'm actually live on my MLS right now. And today I was doing another video and I actually stumbled across this listing. And this listing is so unique because it actually illustrates all of these issues all in one listing. It's one house with all of these issues. I've never seen this before. So I want to show you this house. The home buyers that own this house, I'm going to back up. They bought the house in March of 2016, and then they decided to put it on the market in July of 2017 for $329,500. So look at that, guys. Look at the price jump. In just 1 year, a little bit more than 1 year, they're almost trying to get $100,000 more for the house. Okay, right off the bat, I can tell you that's crazy. No houses appreciate that much that fast, or not in this area anyway. So I can already tell you the price is too high. But let's go take a look at it. Let's look at what this house looks like. And so right off the bat, I can tell, and I don't want to pick on this agent too much, but right off the bat, I can tell this agent is not putting a lot of effort into this, because they didn't even fill out all of the MLS fields, okay? They didn't even put in the type of oven, the type of flooring, the type of countertops. They didn't bother. So right off the bat, I can tell this isn't a super motivated, dedicated agent, okay? I don't mean to pick on them, but that's just what I see right off the bat. And then I go look at this photo. Let's go look at the photos. And right now it looks dark. And we're going to pull up the photos. And look, they didn't even close the garage door all the way. Didn't remove the car, left the car in there. Here's some kind of shot of the front door. They didn't even get the whole front of the house. These photos are not great. You know, they're dark. Look how dark this room is. And they did not remove all the stuff off the refrigerator or the countertops. And it's kind of dark. And these walls look green. It looks like it has green walls with red furniture. That's kind of peculiar. And it's just not a beautiful house. It's not staged well. It's not furnished well. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to pick on these home sellers. Okay, guys, I'm not trying to pick on them. But now here's a good picture here. It's nice and bright. I can see it's a master bedroom. So that one's a good one. The master bath doesn't look so great. So these photos are not that good. Okay, look, here's one that's crooked. It's a crooked photo. Didn't even bother to turn the light on here. Or maybe the light doesn't work. I don't know. Look here, guys. Only one light bulb out of 4 is working. All this stuff on the countertop. It's just not staged well. It doesn't look that pretty. Oh my goodness, what's this? Don't even know what this is. Okay, it's telling us it's a man cave. All right, whatever that is. I don't even think I would have pictures of that on here. And it's a pretty day. It's a nice, beautiful day. We got power lines back here. That may or may not be a deal breaker for a lot of buyers. Oh, and look, this guy didn't even get out of the photo. These are not great pictures, guys. This is not a good online presentation. So right off the bat, there's some issues there. Also, I can tell you this house is in a neighborhood called New Territory in Sugar Land. Now, I'm a local area expert. I've lived in Fort Bend County for 20 years, and I work both Katy, Richmond, and Sugar Land, or mainly Katy and Sugar Land, but a little bit of Richmond. And I've been doing this for 10 years now, and different neighborhoods can have different subdivisions in them. And nobody ever says, hey, I want to, well, very rarely is somebody going to say they want to live in a specific subdivision. They're going to tell us they want to live in a certain neighborhood. So, and they don't even have the neighborhood listed under the master plan neighborhood. They don't even have that filled out. So, I can tell you right now, this house is not listed properly in the MLS. It's priced way too high. The online presentation is poor. You know, I don't know if it's easy to show or not or whatever. So, those are the issues right off the bat. So I do want to show you what I'm talking about with this home being listed in the wrong subdivision. And seeing is believing. So what I'm going to do here is I want to go back and I want to go look at, see, when a home buyer calls a listing, a buyer's agent says, hey, I want to go look at houses and I want to go live in New Territory. We're going to come into our MLS, and this is what the MLS looks like, and we're going to put in the neighborhood. And we don't have a neighborhood field, we have a subdivision field. So I'd put in New Territory. And when I do that, 18 homes pop up. Now, I am specifically looking at homes similar to size to this house, between 21 and 2,700 square feet. The home that we're looking at is about 2,400 square feet, so it should be right in the middle of this. So I'm looking at a range of homes in New Territory, and when I look at the results, it's not even going to pop up. And that is because, see, all the subdivisions say New Territory. And and also, if I go over to HAR, where the home buyers are looking for homes, let me see if I can go to for sale, homes for sale. So let's pretend like I'm a home buyer, and I go to HAR.com, and I put in single family home, and I want active homes that are in New Territory that are, what do we say, at the most 2,700 square feet. Now, I happen to know that this house is the most expensive house right now on the market. I'm going to do a search. So it should pop up first. When I search for that, it should, because I'm sorting by price, descending. So the most expensive house that met that criteria should pop up first. And notice that it did not pop up. It's not on here. And the reason it's not coming up is because it's not properly marked for New Territory. Now, this is a huge problem, guys. Now, of course, if people were just looking in Sugar Land or just looking in that zip code, the house would pop up. Like I could go back to my filters And, you know, I mean, we're going to get a lot of houses if I take it out, but I mean, I could take that out and I could put the zip code in, and then the house would probably pop up. So it's not always the end of the world, but it can cause issues for those people that are specifically looking for a specific neighborhood. And I had that happen to me one time. I was showing houses to a buyer, and they wanted, I was showing houses to a buyer, and I was showing them houses in new territory, and we came across this gorgeous house that was actually well priced and had been on the market, I don't remember, something like 6 or 8 months. And they're like, what's wrong with it? And I'm like, I don't know, let me go look. And so sure enough, I looked, and the subdivision had, instead of new territory, it had the subdivision name, and it was actually Clayton's Bend. I'll never forget it. And so once my buyer clients declined to make an offer on the house, they found another house they liked better. I, out of courtesy, contacted that agent, and it was an out-of-town agent. And by out-of-town, guys, I mean this agent was from Dallas. They were located in Dallas. I don't know what they were doing listing in a house in Sugar Land, but you know, I contacted that agent out of courtesy and said, hey, you need to change that field and make it new territory, because nobody's going to be able to, or not everybody's going to be able to, I shouldn't say nobody, but not everybody's going to be able to find that house because it's not listed properly. So sure enough, guess what? He went and changed it to new territory and had an offer on that house within 2 weeks. Yes. So this is kind of a big deal. Your listing agent needs to know how to properly list the home on the MLS. So let's go back to, I'm going to go back now to the archive history on this home. So when it was first listed, $329, way too high, poor presentation, not super pretty. It was on the market for 36 days. Can y'all see that? It's 36 days. They did drop the price a couple of times. They got down to $310, and then it terminated. And, oh, they fired the agent. They got a new agent. So then they relist. You know, 5 days later, they relisted in September with a new agent. And guess what he did? And this is a good agent. I know this agent. He's very experienced. He immediately drops the price down to reason. They dropped it down to approximately $250,000. That's quite a drop, guys. It went from $325 to $250. So they started off $75,000 too high. And that may have been the right price at the time. And if we take a look, he took the time, you know, he made sure most of these MLS fields are filled in properly, but he still did not change the subdivision. And yes, it is legal and it's proper to do that. We can change the subdivision. The legal subdivision remains the same. We're not changing the legal subdivision. We're only changing the neighborhood, which is called subdivision on this MLS. Now, the photo does look better. Doesn't it look better? So we go look at the photos, and yeah, these are better photos. You know, now it's light and bright. I can see the real colors. That room's not green. It's beige. Look, we can now see it's beige. Still has the red furniture in there. Cleaned up the kitchen a bit. Look, they took the stuff off the refrigerator. Still didn't remove the cleaners off the counter. But it looks a little bit better, a little bit more decluttered, wider angle. So now we can see the whole kitchen. Looks like they're moving out. The furniture's going away. And but now what we're seeing here is every room's painted a different color, and these are not super popular colors. So any buyers looking at this and they're going to go, I got to paint the house. I got to neutralize it. And they're probably going to move on because most buyers don't want to repaint a whole new house. They really don't. So even though this is a better agent and they're better photos, you know, they're all the same size. They're not all different sizes, and they're oriented properly and they're good angles. It's still not a super pretty house. The appearance is not that great. I mean, do you guys want to go see this house? Probably not. So then let's go back and see what else is going on here. And he did not change the subdivision. I think we mentioned that. So then if we go back to the archive history on this house, we'll see that he only had that house on the market for 6 days at $249,900. And then I did some research on this, and what ended up happening is that house went into foreclosure. And so then a year later, see, well, is it quite a year later? So that listing terminated in March of 2018, and then it came back on the market in October of 2018. So however many months that is. It went off the market in March and went back on the market mid-October that year with a new agent. Here we go again. And, oh, look, now we've got a nice bright photo. The price, they started at $319, and then it went down to $310. Let's look. They did fill in most of the MLS field, so we're getting better here. We're seeing progress. Ups, but here's the problem. One of the problems, it may be hard to show. Not always. Some of these agents are good and responsive, and they may always tell you they will be responsive, but the bottom line is I have to go through the agent. If I want to show this property to a client, I have to text or call and get a hold of this agent to get permission and get code and get access to get in the house. And any extra barriers that you cause can prevent potential buyers from seeing the property. So that's a no-no. I would not do that. Let's go look at the photos and see how they look. Okay, so see what happened here. Some investors got in. It went into foreclosure. I'm speculating. I don't know this for sure, guys, but I'm speculating. Somebody went in here and gutted this house and redid it. Look, it looks totally different. They painted all the nice garages. They redid that kitchen white. They put in hardwood floors, new modern light fixtures. Looks a lot better, except for the online presentation's not that great. I mean, look at this. All these photos, well, not all of them. Look, you never do tall photos like this. Tall photos are bad. You want them all to be oriented, what is that, landscape, not portrait. And the angles are not that good. You can't really see the whole room. I mean, this picture of the master bath looks decent. And what room is this? Is this a bedroom? Is it an office? I don't know. Can't tell by looking at it. Can't tell what this is. And no description down here. Open closet doors. I mean, that's really lame. I wouldn't open the closet doors there. They did remove the person out back. But these photos are not that great. Now, the appearance is much better. We can assume, with these freshly painted and new everything, the appearance has improved, but the presentation has not really improved that much. A little bit, maybe, not that much. So then what happened there? Let's go look at what happened. So they had it listed for 208 days, started at $319 in October, and never accepted an offer. I mean, they could have possibly received offers and just didn't accept them, but it never says that it went option pending or pending. So they withdrew it in May and then terminated it in June without selling. And I can tell you why, besides maybe it's hard to show, the price is still too high. Okay, so now they fired that agent and got a new agent. They keep blaming the agent. And I don't know, maybe it is the agent's fault. Maybe that's sticky. So terminated in June, hired a new real estate agent, relisted it, and dropped the price went up in price. Look at that, guys. They went up in price. They couldn't sell it before in 280 days, so they went up in price. I'll never understand that kind of logic, okay? I just will never understand that. Guess they got a good sales guy that sold them on the fact that they could do that. So, and then let's look at the photos, see the online presentation. I mean, now all the photos are the same size. None of them are, the portrait. They're all landscape. I would like them to be a little brighter, but I mean, they're not horrible. I mean, these pictures here, I would like to be a little bit brighter. I think the photographer could have, or the agent could brighten them up a little bit, but they're good angles. I get a good look at the house. Remember that one that just showed the door, and now at least we're getting the whole front. And oh, look at this. This is a new angle I don't think we saw before. Now we can see that there's actually a formal dining room here off the entry. I don't think we ever saw that before. So this is definitely an improvement on the photos. And the house looks beautiful. And look at this, guys. We never saw, or I never noticed, these open windows. They're showing off the windows. They opened up the blinds or whatever. And now they're showing that, hey, this great big room with this vaulted ceiling has this gorgeous view. I mean, from what we can tell right here, we don't know what's actually, we know there's power lines back there, but it has this gorgeous view. So this is definitely improvement, don't you guys think? And then look at this gorgeous kitchen. I'm just going to look at how beautiful that is. And now they're not just showing the light fixtures, they're showing us the whole kitchen. We can see it's an all new backsplash and new nice bright white cabinets, which, by the way, is the most popular type of cabinet of all time, always, ever. If you're ever wanting to redo your cabinets and you're not sure what color to go with white, and you can research that. So it looks beautiful now. Sorry about that. I hate it when sometimes, anyway, I should have went backwards. But anyway, this house now, the appearance is beautiful. The online presentation is much better. Let's go see if they're making it hard to show or not. Nope, they've got the showing service, the appointment service. I mean, the phone number's slightly off here. It should be 713, but that's no biggie because we know that. So now it's up, but guess what? It's going to be hard to find. They still didn't change new territory, so it's going to be hard to find. The presentation's better. Hopefully it's easier to show. Now they're using the showing service. The appearance is good. Hopefully the condition's good. Now we can't tell by looking at the photos if it has an outdated HVAC system or roof or anything like that. We can't tell about that. but I can tell you that this price is too high. Oh, and regarding let's look and see if it has any defects, hard to solve defects. I'm going to pull up the bird's eye view. Oh, look at this, guy. Something we didn't notice before in the bird's eye view. Look what's directly behind. Something's directly behind. Not only does it have the power lines back here, it has, I'm not sure what that is. I don't know if that's some kind of mud facility and mud tanks, municipal utility district tanks. I can see that there's some power lines back here. I know it might be hard for y'all to see, but I'm used to looking at it. See, there's a shadow of this one. So you can see the shadows on here. So this house is directly behind a hard to solve defect. Not a lot of buyers are going to be crazy about this. Now, they do have a tree line back here, so it may not be horrible, but it's still there, and a lot of people don't want to live next to that. And it looks like they're next to a soccer field, too, which is going to be noisy and loud. So even if a buyer kind of got interested in this, if they had a good buyer's agent like me, who gets all these aerials for you in advance, and they find out it's probably going to be a little noisy there as well. So it does have some hard-to-solve defects, which means this house will never... Well, let me not make absolutes here, but it will probably never be able to get top dollar because it has these defects. It might get a high price, but it's probably never going to get top dollar. So speaking of price, let's go look at the pricing on this property. And what I want to do now is when we're pricing a house, and the way we price houses is we're going to look at the houses that have sold in that area in the past 6 months. And we want to look at houses that are plus or minus 300 square feet in size. So I'm going to pull that up. And I mean, there's a little more details. We normally narrow it down by bedrooms and number of bedrooms. We want the same number of bedrooms and baths and so on and so forth. But I'm just going to keep this simple right now. And when I pull up the results, and by the way, I'm looking at everything. I mapped out New Territory. So I drew a perimeter around the entire neighborhood of New Territory. So I'm no longer at the mercy of that subdivision field. I'm actually seeing everything that's going on in that neighborhood, by the way. So when I do that, I come up with, I get 29 homes have sold, and I'm going to do some date on that. I'm going to select all 29 fields, and I'm going to go pull up some statistics on that. Now, this is not how we price a home correctly. This is just a quick and dirty, let's just do a quick evaluation on this home. But when I look at everything sold in the last 6 months of that similar size to that house, I can see that the average sales price, see here, we're in the average sales price is only $272. Remember, they're up at like, what, 325 and then down to 320 or something. So they're way over the average price for that house. I mean, way over. Now, that house is in top condition. I mean, it's like a new house on the inside. It's definitely move-in ready. So it is in top dollar condition. There's no doubt about it. But will it ever be able to appraise for that price? I doubt it. I mean, the average is 109 a square foot. But that's actually not the whole picture, guys, because here's something else you need to know. That's everything in New Territory, but what I know that a lot of agents don't realize, and a lot of home sellers and buyers don't even realize, is sometimes a neighborhood has different schools zoned, and this particular neighborhood is that case. On the east side of this neighborhood, it's zoned to Austin High School, which is one of the best high schools around. It's a top-rated high school. I mean, on a scale from 1 to 10, I think it's rated at a 9. And then the west side of the neighborhood is zoned to Travis High School, which is still a good high school, but it's only a 7. So the west side of the neighborhood never gets as high a price as the east side on average. The same size of home over when the same if you take a home with the same size and the same amenities on the west side, it's still not going to get the same price as the east side. And let me prove that to you. So what I'm going to do is go into the criteria, and I'm just going to put in Austin High School. And so now it went from 29 matches down to 13. And so now I'm only looking at the houses on the east side. And when I run the numbers on those, see, look, it jumped from what? Was it 272 or 274? It jumped up to 303. So the east side is definitely more valuable than the west side. Well, let me prove it to you. Now let's go look at the west side. So now I'm going to go back to criteria. I'm going to change the high school to the other high school, which is Travis, and in Fort Bend County. And so now it's, again, 16 houses. So it's about the same number of houses as sold on either side. And again, when I select all of these to run my stats, the west side, look at this, guys. It dropped down to basically 247,000 on average. So they are just way, way above the average price. In fact, if I can get over to my presentation here, I kind of summarize this. So when they put this house on the market the last time, sorry, didn't mean to do that. They have listed it originally at $325. When the side of the neighborhood they're located in, the average price is only $246. So they are way, way above average. And even if it is an above average condition, there is no way an appraiser is going to appraise that house for $325. I mean, they're at $134. They were originally, not originally way back when, but this current listing was at $325 and $134 a square foot. That's $79,000 over average. That's 32% higher than the average price. And even if it is in above average condition, I really don't see any lender's appraiser ever valuing that house above $300,000. Even if they could get $300,000 for that house, you know, that would be a miracle. So I don't know where they're getting these numbers or how they're pricing this house. I mean, they're investors. They should know better. But unfortunately, I see a lot of investors do this, and they'll let the house sit on the market forever. There are no numbers that validate and back that number up. So that's a serious problem with this listing. So, you know, good luck to them on ever getting to sell that house. They're just going to have a hard time. And let's see if there was anything else that we wanted to look at. Oh, this is the other side. These are the solds. So if we go back to that house, I have to go back to actives. Let's pull it back up. And notice it's the most expensive, and the next most expensive house is $280,000. So they're $34,000 overpriced, over the most expensive listing in that section of the neighborhood. So, so this house is going to have a hard time selling, and it has had a hard time selling, you know, and hopefully, you know, this really shows you guys of what to do and what not to do. I mean, it's difficult to find because it's zoned, you know, it's put in the wrong subdivision. It's not entered into the MLS correctly. The presentation is better. I don't see that they have any videos. Apparently they're not using any videos. Videos are really good in our area because we have such a high relocation rate. Being an oil and gas suburb, you know, or I should say a suburb of an oil and gas city, we have a lot of relocation clients. And so I do videos for my properties. If a seller chooses that package, I do videos. And then it hopefully is easy to show. So the appearance looks good. We're not sure about the condition, but the condition looks way better than it was anyway. The price is too high, and it does have a hard to solve defect. So hopefully that answers some questions for you guys. I hope you learned a few things. I think overall, you can't always blame the agent, you know, but a lot of times it is the agent. So make sure when you hire a real estate agent, hire a great real estate agent like me, Sheila Cox. Get somebody that knows the area. And I don't mean they have to live in the neighborhood. I mean, I don't live in New Territory, and I know the neighborhood. I also know Katy really well. I actually live in Katy. So I work Katy and Sugar Land. So if you have a home in Katy, Sugar Land, or anywhere in the Richmond area along Grand Parkway, I've been working in that area for 10 years, and I am very happy to get professional quality, high quality photos and videos. And I also do videos to present and do a really great online presentation for you. And I am a member of our automated appointment service, and I do put an electronic box on your house to make it very easy to show. And I do staging plans and offer staging service to help you get the best appearance you can. You need to watch my other video. I'm going to have another video of how I helped a homeowner remodel his home. I mean, he needed more than just staging. He had to do some remodeling. So watch my other video on that. I also have a say that fast. Proprietary method of pricing homes correctly that I actually teach to other real estate agents. So I'm pretty good at pricing, but hey, I'm not perfect either, guys. Sometimes the market's just difficult. You know, I have occasionally in my career had a hard time selling a few houses, and you know, the seller did everything right and I did everything right, and we still had a hard time selling houses. And sometimes some houses are just hard to sell if they've got funky floor plans and hard to change floor plans or funky features and hard to solve defects. You know, sometimes you just got to live with that and just wait for the right buyer. Now, that's the last resort. There's many other things you can do before that, but even I've had difficulty selling some houses sometimes. So I don't want to tell you guys I'm perfect. I'm not. Real estate's challenging, and markets can be challenging. And but there are some things that we can do to give you the highest reasonable you know, I don't know exactly what I'm saying, but the highest chance for success in selling your home quickly. And I've kind of showed you those secrets. If you have any questions, send me an email or text me. If you want to sign up and let me help you sell a house, I'd be happy to do it. Even if it's a hard to sell house, we'll take a go at it. So take care.